Welcome back. Shalom, my Hebrews and Shebrews. This is Oilfield Disciple, and we are eating our daily bread with the prophets today. Second video of daily bread. We will be in Isaiah 14, and then we will move to Hosea 5 and probably chapter 6, and maybe even possibly chapter 7. We'll see where we're at there. The message that the Lord gave me to bring today that I'm going to try to get uploaded here on YouTube here in a little bit. That I brought to the congregation, which all my congregation is at home, but I went live on Facebook. And so you can find me on Facebook under Matthew Cunningham. Anyway, with that said, let's get to our daily bread with the prophets, Isaiah 14, and then we will go as the Spirit moves us. I've got something. I'm going to turn the camera around. We're going to watch some old classic cars in a junkyard. And so, something a little different. All right. Yeshayahu 14:1 says, because Yahweh has compassion on Jacob, and shall again choose Israel, and give them rest in their own land, and the sojourner shall join them. And they shall cling to the house of Jacob. And peoples shall take them and bring them to their own place. And the house of Israel shall possess them for servants and female servants in the land of Yahweh. And they shall make captives of their captors and rule over their oppressors. And it shall be in the day Yahweh gives you rest from your sorrow and from your trouble and the hard service in which you were made to serve, that you shall take up this proverb against the sovereign of Babel and say, how the oppressor has ceased, the gold gatherer ceased. All right, hold up for a second. Are we not being given rest of our sorrows now? We need to take advantage of that. We need to make sure that this time of rest that Yahweh's given us. Genesis 50:20 says that Yahweh will make good what the enemy meant for evil. So let's take this time and let's lead our families. Let's become fathers and husbands that God called us to be. Verse 5, Yahweh has broken the staff of the wrong, the scepter of the rulers. How he struck the people in wrath with ceaseless blows. He who ruled the nations in displeasure is persecuted, and no one restrains. All the earth is at rest and at peace, and they shall break forth into singing. Last week, let me stop right there. Last week in our message, I was at the church by myself, just talking to the camera, and I started my message before we did praise and worship, and it was quite different. And I realized the importance of praise and worship before the message. It just does something to my spirit. And even though I've made jokes before that, we could do away with praise and worship because I can't sing for nothing. We tried it today and about burnt the whole system down. But anyway. Verse 7, and all the earth is at rest and at peace, and they shall break forth into singing. Even the cypress trees rejoice over you, and the cedars of Lebanon. Say, since you were cut down, no woodcutter has come up against us. Sheol from beneath is excited about you, to meet you at your coming. It stirs up the dead for you and all the chief ones of the earth. It has raised up from their thrones all the sovereigns of the nations. All of them respond and say to you, have you also become as weak as we? Have you become like us? Your arrogance has been brought down to Sheol in the sound of your stringed instruments. The maggot is spread under you, and the worms cover you. How you have fallen from the heavens, O Hillel, that is Satan, which is the son of the morning. You have been cut down to the ground, you who laid low the nations. Verse 13, for you have said in your heart, let me go up to the heavens, and let me raise my throne above the stars of El, and let me sit in the mount of the appointment on the sides of the north. Let me go up above the heights of the clouds, and let me be like the Most High. Now right there is telling us that Satan wishes to sit on the throne that Yahweh sets upon. Satan can only do what God has already done. He can only mimic what God has done. He can't make nothing new. But you are brought down to Sheol, to the sides of the pit. Those who see you stare at you and ponder over you, saying, is this the man who made the earth tremble, who shook rains, who made the world as a wilderness and destroyed its cities, who would not open the house of his prisoners? All the sovereigns of the nations, all of them were laid in esteem, every one in his own house. But you have been thrown from your burial site like an abominable branch, like the garment of those who are killed, thrust through with a sword, who go down to the stones of the pit like a trampled corpse. You are not joined with them in the burial place, for you have destroyed your land and killed your people. Let the seed of evildoers never be mentioned. Prepare his children for slaughter because of the crookedness of their fathers, lest they rise up and possess the land and fill the face of the world with cities. I shall rise up against them, declares Yahweh of hosts, and shall cut off from Babel the name and remnant, and offspring and descendant, declares Yahweh. And I shall make it a possession for the porcupine, and marshes of muddy water, and shall sweep it with the broom of the destruction, declares Yahweh of hosts. Go look up what porcupine means, y'all. Verse 24, Yahweh of hosts has sworn, saying, truly as I have planned, so it shall be. And as I have purposed, so it stands. To break Asher in my land, and tread him down on my mountains, and his yoke shall be removed from them, and his burden removed from their shoulders. This is the counsel that is counseled for all the earth, and this is the hand that is stretched over all the nations. For Yahweh of hosts has counseled, and who annuls it? And his hand that is stretched out, who turns it back? This is the message which came in the year that sovereign Ahaz died. Do not rejoice, all you of Philistia, that the rod that struck you is broken. For out of the serpent's roots comes forth an adder, and its offspring is a fiery flying serpent. And the firstborn of the poor shall feed, and the needy lie down in safety. And I shall kill your roots with scarcity of food, and it shall kill your remnant. Howl, O gate. Cry, O city. Melt away, all you Philistia. For smoke shall come from the north, and there is no stranger in his ranks. And what does the one answer the messengers of a nation? That Yahweh has founded Zion, and the poor of his people take refuge in it? And that's chapter 14. It is dealing with the end times. It is also dealing with the nation of Israel at that exact moment. Like I said, y'all, this is just a daily reading, and hopefully it will inspire you to go search it out and look it up. Hosea chapter 5. Hear this, oh, baby, I got a video. Hosea chapter 5, 602. Hear this, O priests, and listen, O house of Israel. Give ear, O house of the sovereign. For the judgment is for you, and for you have been a snare to Mizpah, and a net to spread on Tabor. And revolters have gone deep in slaying, and I reprove them all. I have known Ephraim, and Israel has not been hidden from me. For now, O Ephraim, you have whored. Israel is defiled. Their deeds do not allow them to turn back to their Elohim, for the spirit of whorings is among them, and they do not know Yahweh. As we read Hosea, it's almost like reading the headlines. I think I've said that before, but it is almost like reading the headlines of today's news. It is almost like watching the people's comments on Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat, whatever platform you operate on in social media. When you watch people talk, they have forgot their Yahweh. Verse 5. And the excellency of Israel shall witness to his face, and Israel and Ephraim stumble in their crookedness. Yehudah shall also stumble with them. With their flocks and herds they go to seek Yahweh, but do not find him. He is withdrawn from them, and they have acted treacherously against Yahweh. For they have brought forth strange children. Now a new moon shall devour them with their portions. Blow a shofar, O Gibeah, the trumpet in Ramah. Shout, O Beth-awen, behind you is Benjamin. Ephraim is laid waste in the day of rebuke. Among the tribes of Israel I shall make known what is certain. The chiefs of Yehudah shall be like those who remove a border, and on them I pour out my wrath like water. Ephraim is oppressed, crushed in judgment, because he walked after the command when it pleased him. So I am to Ephraim like a moth, and to the house of Yehudah like rottenness. When Ephraim saw his sickness and Yehudah saw his wound, then Ephraim went to Asher and sent to sovereign Yareb. But he is unable to heal you or to remove the wound from you. For I am like a lion to Ephraim and like a young lion to the house of Yehudah. I myself tear them and go, and I take them away, and there is no one to deliver. I shall go. I shall return to my place until they confess their guilt and seek my face. In their distress, diligently search for me and say. Chapter 6. Chapter 6. Come and let us turn back to Yahweh. For he has torn, but he does heal us. He has stricken, but he binds us up. After 2 days he shall revive us. On the third day he shall raise us up, so that we live before him. There's a whole bunch right there. We better turn back to Yahweh. And remember that a day in prophecy is usually a year or even 1,000 years. Verse 3, so let us know, let us pursue to know Yahweh. Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom and his righteousness, and all things will be added. So let us know, let us pursue to know Yahweh. His going forth is as certain as the morning, and he comes to us like the rain, like the latter rain watering the earth. Ephraim, what would I do with you? Yehudah, what would I do with you? For your loving commitment is like a morning cloud, and like the early dew it goes away. Therefore I have hewn them by the prophets, I have killed them by the words of my mouth, and my right rulings break forth as light. Now Jesus quoted this next verse in Matthew yesterday when we read it. For I delight in loving commitment and not slaughtering, and in the knowledge of Elohim more than ascending offerings. He requires mercy rather than sacrifice.
Where did he say that? We read that just yesterday.
Matthew chapter 12. God requires mercy over sacrifice. He's telling them to look for me, seek me. Your man-made doctrines and your man-made laws are all foolishness to God. They had it then and we have it now. Verse 7, but like Adam, they transgressed the covenant. There they acted treacherously against me. Gilead is a city of workers of wickedness, tracked up with blood. And as a band of robbers lie in wait for a man, so the company of priests murder on the way to Shechem. For they have done wickedness. I have seen a horrible matter in the house of Israel. The whoring of Ephraim is there. Israel defiled. Also a harvest is appointed for you. O Yehudah, when I turn back the captivity of my people. Yahweh is coming back. Yeshua is coming back to gather the lost tribes of the house of Israel. If we do not understand that we are grafted into the house of Israel, who are we? Will we be gathered? He's coming back for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He said that the first time. That's still going to be his goal the second time. Yes, we were once Gentiles, but now we're made new. We're new creations in Christ. 2 Corinthians 10:17. Or 5:17. I think it's 2 Corinthians 5:17. Let's read chapter 7. We got time. Chapter 7, verse 1. Whenever I would heal Israel, then the crookedness of Ephraim is uncovered, and the evil deeds of Shomeron, Samaria. For they have wrought falsehood, and a thief comes in, and a band of robbers raid outside. That's our religious leaders today. From the Pope to the lowly guy at the pulpit, preaching fallacies, preaching that we don't have to do this no more. Verse 2, and they do not say to their hearts that I remember all their evil. Now their own deeds have surrounded them, and they have been before me. With their evil they make a sovereign glad, and rulers with their lies. All of them are adulterers, as an oven heated by a baker. Who ceases stirring the fire after kneading the dough, until it is leavened? And the day of our sovereign rulers becomes sick. Inflamed with wine, he extended his hand with scoffers. For they have drawn near, their heart is like an oven. While they lie in wait all the night, their baker sleeps. In the morning it burns like a flaming fire. All of them are as hot as an oven, and they consumed their rulers. All their sovereigns have fallen, not one among them call on me. Ephraim mixes himself among the peoples. Ephraim has become a cake unturned. Strangers have devoured his strength, but he does not know it. Gray hairs are also sprinkled on him, and he does not know it. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is what that means. He does not understand knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Yahweh.
Which are the things that David teaches us, and even in the Old Testament teaches us that we're to seek.
Verse 10, and the excellency of Israel did witness to his face, but they did not return to Yahweh, their Elohim, nor did they seek him for all of this. All of this calamity that we're dealing with today, y'all. There's going to be many who do not take this time to seek God and seek his word and lead their family. All the perils that fall before them. Verse 11, Ephraim has become a simple dove without heart. They have called on Mitzrayim. They have gone to Asher. What does that mean, a dove without heart? It means that they look righteous. They look like they're following God, but they have no spirit within them. When they go, I spread my net over them. I bring them down like birds of the heavens. I chastise them as their congregation has heard. Woe to them, for they have strayed from me. Destruction to them, because they've transgressed against me. And I myself have ransomed them, yet they have spoken false against me. They did not cry out to me with their heart when they wailed upon their beds. For grain and new wine they assemble themselves, and they turn away from me. And I instructed. I strengthened their arms, but they plot evil against me. They return, but not above. They have been like a slick bow. Their rulers fall by the sword for the cursings of their tongue. This is their scorn in the land of Mitzrayim. Their rulers fall by the sword of the cursings of their tongue. We need to be praying for our leaders even when they're doing stupid. We need to pray for our leaders that they would turn from their wicked ways and come back to Messiah, just as Nineveh did. Nineveh repented from the king down to the lowest slob on the ground. Chapter 8, put a shofar to your mouth like an eagle against the house of Yahweh, because they have transgressed my covenant and they've rebelled against my Torah. They cry out to me, my Elohim, we, Israel, we know you. Israel has rejected what is good, and the enemy pursues them. They have made sovereigns, but not for me. They have made rulers, but I have not known. From their silver and gold they make idols for themselves, so that they are cut off. Oh, Shomeron, your calf has been cast off. My wrath has burned against them. How long shall they be incapable of innocence? For from Israel is even this, a workman made it. It's not Elohim. For the calf of Shomeron is splinters. For they sow the wind and reap the whirlwind. The stalk has no bud. It yields no grain. If it does yield, strangers swallow it up. Israel has been swallowed up. They have now become among the nations as a vessel in which is no pleasure. For they themselves have gone up to Asher, a wild donkey alone by itself in Ephraim, and they have hired lovers. Also, although they sold themselves among the nations, this time I shall gather them, when they have suffered for a while from the burden of a sovereign of rulers. Since Ephraim has made many slaughter places for sin, they have been slaughter places for sinning to him. I have written for him numerous matters of my Torah. They were regarded as strange. As for my slaughterings, they slaughter flesh and they eat. Yahweh shall not accept them. Now does he remember their crookedness and punish their sins. Let them return to Mitzrayim. Let them return to bondage. For Israel has forgotten his maker and has built palaces, and Yehudah has increased walled cities. But I shall send fire upon his cities, and I shall devour his strongholds. We'll stop right there, because I could continue reading all the way until we get to 15, I think it is. 14. 20 minutes in. Let's finish this book. I have a note up here that says, what will you do on the day of appointment? Chapter 9, O Israel, do not rejoice with exultation like the peoples, for you have whored from your Elohim. You have loved a harlot fee at all threshing floors. Threshing floor and wine presses shall not feed them, and new wine shall fail in her. They shall not dwell in the land of Yahweh, but Ephraim shall return to Mitzrayim and eat unclean food in Asher. We're going to return to bondage and do what we want to do. Are we not there? Here, right now, the Western culture, claiming to be the church. We're in bondage, and we're doing what we want. They do not pour wine offerings to Yahweh, nor are they pleasing to him. Their slaughterings are like bread of mourners to them. All who eat it are defiled, for their bread is for their beings. It does not come into the house of Yahweh. What do you do for the day of appointment in the day of the festival of Yahweh? For look, they shall go because of destruction. Mitzrayim gathers them up. Moth buries them. Nettles possess their valuables of silver, and thorns are in their tents. The days of punishment have come. The days of retribution have come. Israel knows. The prophet's a fool, and the man of spirit is mad because of the greatness of your crookedness, and great is the enmity. Elohim's watchman over you. Ephraim is the prophet, but a trapper's snare is in all his ways. Enmity is in the house of Elohim. That's division. They have deeply corrupted themselves as the days of Gibeah. He remembers their crookedness. He punishes their sins. I found Israel like grapes in the wilderness. I saw your fathers as the firstfruits on the fig tree in the beginning. They themselves have gone to Baal Peor. Baal Peor is a Moabite god. And separated themselves to shame and become as abominable as that which they loved. Ephraim is like a bird. Their esteem has flown away. No birth and none with child and no conception. I seen a thing on, I don't remember what I was looking up some info yesterday, and I seen an ad and I watched it. It's an ad somewhere in France, Europe somewhere, that there's a brothel and the sexual instruments are sex robots. It's pretty wicked, pretty weird. That's why it made me think of that. No birth and none child and no conception.
What is Baal Peor?
Baal Peor is a Moabite god. Moabite. The Moabites where Ruth came from. Ruth was a Moabite.
So it's saying right there in 10 that at first he found Israel, he liked them when he found them in the wilderness, and he saw their father's first fruits on the fig tree, and because which is
that was their children. That was his children, his chosen ones.
Chosen children.
But they turned from him quickly.
And right, and then it says, and then they separated themselves to shame.
Mm-hmm. They went about after the gods of the nations before them.
That's right.
That's Baal Peor. And God commanded the children of Israel not to mingle with the Moabites.
Right.
If you look their genealogy, it goes all the way back to Ham.
Yeah.
Okay. Verse 12. Though they bring up their children, I shall make them childless without man. For it is woe to them when I turn away from them. Baby daddy. That's my baby daddy. That's my baby's daddy. We have no concept of family today. Verse 13, I have seen Ephraim like Soar, planting in a pleasant place, but Ephraim shall bring out his children to the killer. Let's kill them in the womb. Give them, O Yahweh, give what? Give them a miscarrying womb and dry breast. All their evils in Gilgal, for there I have hated them. Because of the evil of their deeds, I drive them from my house. No more do I love them. All their rulers are rebels. Ephraim has been stricken. Their root has dried up. They yield no fruit, even if they bear children. I shall put to death the precious ones of their womb. Their root is dried up, even if they bear children. They're not teaching their children the ways of Yahweh. People are allowing their children to do what they want because they do what they want. Verse 17, my Elohim rejects them because they have not obeyed him, so they become wanderers among the nations. I'm going to end right there. We have 4 more chapters. We'll probably knock it out tomorrow in tomorrow's reading with the prophets. I'm not real sure how this video went as far as what y'all got to look at, but I figured it was something better than just staring at the wilderness. Think about what was just said in Hosea, and if that doesn't match up with what's going on in our world today, I don't know what is. That's why I say I don't know if we're entering the Great Tribulation. I don't know. The parable of the fig tree, Jesus tells us to remember that it looks like it has fruit, and it should have fruit, but when you get to it, it does not have no fruit. As I look at this coronavirus, COVID-19, I got 10 experts saying, yep, this is the killer, global killer. And I got 10 experts over here. Nope, it ain't all that bad. And there's videos of how bad it is, and then there's videos of it's not bad. I really don't know, y'all. I have diligently sought this out, and I see it one way, and then I see it the other way. So I'm going to stay focused straight right here. This is where we got to be. This. Open the book, read the book, and put your faith in there. And okay, but I gotta get this done. I got my wife and my daughter sitting in on this one, and it's awesome that God gives me that availability. At the end of the day, y'all, this is pretty awesome. I love it, but it don't hold a candle to what this is. We can be patriots, but we got to be disciples of the Most High first. First be a disciple, and then everything else will fall in line behind that. You want to be a patriot? Awesome, be a patriot. You want to be a liberal? Be a liberal. Do what you want to do. What you want to do after you're following Christ. If we'll all do what this book says, we'll begin to line up. But it has to start in each and every one of our homes first. I have to lead my wife and children first and foremost before I even make these videos. Before I go to my congregation and I give them a message. Before I take a phone call and minister to someone for 4 hours. I have to first make sure my household is in order. And so do you. So y'all be blessed, be encouraged, and always be frustrated. Oilfield Disciple here, and I will catch you on the next reading.